Hello students, Mr. John here. This video we're going to take a look at what we can do off of a straight right step through punch. Okay, now this is a punch that would be coming from an untrained, unskilled person because most people that are trained are going to use a shuffle rather than a step in. Okay, so when they step in, they can either fire that right straight, they can fire it roundhouse, they can fire it overhand. Okay, so it could be coming in at different angles. One of the weaknesses I see in a lot of martial arts is that they are great when the punch is coming in exactly the way they see it from other people in their class, but not so great when an untrained person or a street fighter who's had lots of experience fighting but no formal training throws it at a slightly different angle. Okay, so we want to pay attention to that. Now, when we're faced off against an opponent, there's basically three ways we can be. We can be squared off like this. If he's standing in a fighting stance, you should never ever be squared off like this. And I'm way too close. At this range, I'm going to get punched before I can do anything about it. Okay, because action is faster than reaction. A person can act in like 8 to 12 hundredths of a second. It takes 18 to 24 hundredths of a second to react to what you see and make a defense go. So acting is 2 to 3 times faster than reacting. So we can be standing here square, we can have our left foot forward, or we can have our right foot forward. What we do is going to be very dependent on what foot we have forward. All right? Now, whenever possible, we want to get to the outside. If he's throwing a straight right, I'm over here. Hey, you did it with a shuffle. You must be trained. Let's do it from the diagonal, maybe. So I'm sorry we only have a 7-foot square here in front of the green screen. So as this comes in, I need to get to the outside of it. Going to the inside is problematic because now that other punch is just lined right up. Okay, sometimes you may not have any choice. You get caught a little bit by surprise, and whoa, you managed to get out of the way and not get hit with that first one. But you have to know that second one's coming, and at that point, you're probably going to have to cover up to try to get inside. All right. So what we do depends on what foot we have forward and where our hands are. If we're squared off and our hands are down, they're obviously going to come up. So that gives us different possibilities. So from here comes the punch, I do the block. I want to take that off on an angle. If I let him have the center line, he can come across, turn his hips and hit me with the left hook maybe. But what I need to do when I block is I also need to take the center line. I need to take his punch and take it offline. So I'm going to occupy the center line and force his punch off on the diagonal. Now, so let's do it squared this way so you guys can see that. Do you see how now I'm right on that center line and his punch is pointing off on the diagonal? Okay, so I've taken that space. Two solid objects cannot occupy the same space at the same time. So if I occupy that space with force, then he's going to have to be deflected off. Okay? So don't overdo it, don't lean, and don't overreact. Your block is going to a point in space and stopping, and this point in space is right on the center line. Okay, so going back to our diagonal, I'm like, hey man, I don't want any trouble. I block. Now, I have choices. I can hit low, like a ridge hand to the groin. That's dance of death. I can hit medium, look up inverted backwards to the body. That's thundering hammers. I can hit high. That's a ridge hand to the throat, which is sleeper. All right, and I probably don't know what technique I'm going to do before I start moving. If you train correctly, your body will default to what it knows. So if you default to thundering hammers, then that's probably what you'll do. If your default is dance of death, that's probably what you'll do. If your default is sleeper, then that's probably what you do. But you're going to train it and train it and train it. And then when your body finds itself in that position, it's going to pick one of those techniques, and there's really no conscious thought about what technique you're going to do. When I was young, I'd always read books and they say, he moved at the speed of thought. And I'm like, wow, he's fast. But you know what? The speed of thought's actually kind of slow. We don't have time to think. All we have time to do is react to an impulse. So we don't have to move at the speed of thought. We got to go faster than that. We have to move at the speed of impulse. So as soon as we get the impulse to do an action, we've got to go. All right? So my hands are down. Whoa, we'll make a miss. Hit low, hit middle, hit high. Now, if my hands are up, I'm going to also do poom, point of origin movement, from here. Well, and I can maybe catch that arm and break his elbow. But this time, as I push him off on the diagonal, this hand can catch that way and snap that. And then I'm into Whirling Warrior for you pink karate girls. Okay, now, that one I did Flashing Mace, aka Whirling Warrior. All right, now, for real life, I'm not a big fan of spinning, okay, and putting my back to a bad guy. So let's look at some alternatives. So hey, look, I don't want any trouble. This is a great place to be in, by the way. You're in your ready stance, your hands are already up. So this would probably be your default or your go-to for a punch. So he said, hey man, I don't want any trouble. Well, so I'm here. Now, once you hit there, see, you can come back and do lots of stuff, all right, without spinning. Spinning's cool, and spinning looks great, but you want to think, probably not the best choice on the street. So my hands are up, I'm there maybe. Oh, well, I didn't get that in. Well, that's okay. It depends on where I am. If I have distance, that's a punch. If I don't, maybe it's an elbow. Keep that up as a check, all right? But once you make contact, stay connected. You can feel his intention and where he's trying to move, whether he's going left or right or up or down or in or out. You can feel his tension if you stay in contact with him. As soon as you lose contact, you lose that. The judo practitioners, they live on this. They feel way more than sight, what their opponent is trying to attempt, okay? So, we have hands down, 1, 2, 3. We have hands up, 1, 2, 3, 4, all right? So just some basic concepts. Now, what are we gonna do if we're right side forward? So if we're right side forward and our hands are up, I would recommend assigning hands. So if we're here, we're gonna be like a boxer. Same side, same side. So my left blocks his right, and my right blocks his left. We don't want to cross over like we do in Five Swords, because I'm on the inside now, all right? And that puts me in direct line. And these punches, you need to train for speed, and you need to get your hand-eye coordination and your visual acuity ready for the speed you're going to see on the street. Most of the time, I find when like black belts get beat up at an ATM, it's because the guy blitzed them and was just throwing and throwing and throwing, and the guy just got overwhelmed. All right? So be aware that an attack is going to come in, and an attack's going to come in fast. All right. So if he comes in with a 1-2, boom, I'm going to get hit. All right. I'm busy blocking the one with my cross hand, which puts me completely out of position for blocking this second one. So coming in. All right. That came in straight. Notice I took the center line and took him down on a diagonal again, except this time, instead of just changing his width, I changed his height as well. So if you do your parry on a slight diagonal, you can change his width too, his height as well as his width, which is good, because that overbalances him and now gets his shoulders in front of his hips, and he's off balance, and you're balanced! And that's where we always want to be. We're on balance always. He's off balance always. All right, hey man, I don't want any trouble. 1, that second one comes, straight in, 2, and then. You know, whatever you want from there. All right? Now, if your hands are already up, okay, and you're an advanced student, then we can go right on the attack. We don't have to wait. Hey, I don't want any trouble. he throws that right at my face, I'm going to drop and I'm going to go straight in. All right, and smother his punch. So cover up, take the punch with your forearms, and then you can go right into a technique or whatever from there. But you want to get controllable. If you guys might not notice, but what I'm hyperextending his elbow across my Superman chest right now. See? So I can break that arm or hyperextend it. I got control of his face via his eyes. And I have him bent backwards. No one is strong when they're bowed over backwards. All right? So this is a great position to put your bad guy in. All right? So he comes in with that. I sit and I'm in. I'm covering. I'm taking those shots on the back of my arm in order to get close enough to do whatever. So we're going to guillotine, kill him, whatever. Okay? All right. So just some thoughts off a straight punch, stepping through when you have your left side forward, your right side forward, or you're squared off. Okay? Have fun.